Hi everyone, welcome to Victoria Carter Saves. My name is Victoria Carter, and here on my channel we talk about Save the Cat, the beat sheets, and general writing advice. So today is part 2 of our Save the Cat series, and we're talking about Harry Potter. If you haven't, I will link down below part 1, and you can watch Act 1. So today we're talking about Act 2. So Act 2 starts with Break into Two. So for Harry Potter, this is very clear. It is when Harry is a wizard. Officially, he is like, I'm a wizard. And the point for Act 2, what you want to do is you want to make your character proactive. So it doesn't matter if your character is lazy, if they're cowardly, if they have whatever flaw you decide to give them, they are proactively jumping into Act 2. And this doesn't have to be a different location, although in Harry Potter it is. He's going to Hogwarts. But it has to be something new in the character's life. This can be a new name. This can be a new job, a new relationship, a new persona. But this is Act 2, so it's breaking into two. It's breaking into the new world, whatever the new world is. And it can literally be a new world or it can be a new perspective. So in Harry Potter, this is when he's getting his gear for Hogwarts and he is ready to start on a new journey. Act 2, just to reiterate, if I haven't said this already, is about 60% of your novel. Sometimes people break it into Act 2 Part 1 and Part 2 because of how big Act 2 is in comparison to the entire book. It's very large. So the second part is the B story. Now, the B story is a character. It's not necessarily a plot. But it is a plot, but it's more of a character that interacts with the main character. This often is a love interest, although because Harry Potter is middle grade, which is for younger audiences, the B story character is Ron and Hermione. And the point of the B story character is to mirror the main story character. And that would be to show Harry what his life would have been if he had been a muggle with supportive parents like Hermione, or if he would have been a wizard and his parents hadn't died, like with Ron. And it shows him a mirror of what his life could have been if he were in different circumstances. And it also shows that Ron and Hermione are comfortable in their skin, which is what Harry is going to learn throughout his journey. The next part is the fun and games section. And this is the biggest portion of the story beats. It's a big part. I would say 20%. I'm going to double check this right now. Yeah, so it's about 30%. According to Jessica Brodies in the Save the Cat book, which I highly recommend you buy. This book is amazing. She says it goes to the 20 to 50% mark in your story. So this is what the blurb on the back of the book is. This is boy goes to wizarding school. This is all of that. Brandon Sanderson says that this is the part where, things got bad at the Catalyst, but things are going to get worse. You're going to build tension here. You're going to put plot points here that are going to build up to the finale, build up to the midpoint. This is the part where you're going to not only explore who the character is and their internal conflict, their flaw, but you're also going to explore what the major plot is of the book. In the fun and games part of Harry Potter, because it's middle grade, it's not as dire as maybe an adult book or a YA book might be. But this is the part where Harry, he learns about being a wizard. He learns charms. He learns Quidditch. He learns, let's see, in here it talks about him meeting Malfoy. And the important part with the fun and games is it's not necessarily fun and games for your character. It's fun and games to watch for yourself, and to read for yourself. So what you want to have happen is you want to have an overarching path for your hero. So in Harry Potter, it's an upward path. But you also don't want your hero to succeed at every point. You want them to fail sometimes and succeed sometimes. So he fails sometimes because, he hasn't studied up on wizard school. So he kind of gets ridiculed a little bit for not knowing things that everybody else, including Hermione, knows. So the fun and games section for Harry Potter is an upward path. Now the next section is the midpoint. And the midpoint often has a midpoint twist where you find something new about the story, something that changes everything. It's similar to the catalyst in that it has to be big enough that it propels the hero even further into the story. And often this is where there's a false victory or a false defeat. Now the reason it's false is because it is the point where the hero has not learned the theme, but it's a victory or a defeat based on what you want in your story. So for Harry Potter, it's a false victory because he wins his Quidditch match, but he also finds out that someone is trying to kill him, which is very serious. And this is the part where I like to say, shit gets real. Now it's not so fun and games anymore. Things are serious. And it's serious because someone's trying to kill him, and that's not good. Now you have the bad guys close in beat. And this beat mirrors the fun and games beat. But it mirrors it opposite. So if there was an uphill path towards the midpoint, now it's downhill, or vice versa. For this, it's Christmas time. I think his friends leave and he's by himself for a while, but he also ends up going into the Forbidden Forest with Malfoy. He meets a hooded figure that's drinking unicorn blood. It's definitely a buildup of more scary and, like I said, not as fun in games, upward trajectory path. And he learns about Nicholas Flamel, and he learns about just that things are at Hogwarts aren't as safe as he thought before. The next beat is the All is Lost beat. And at this All is Lost beat, it says here that the All is Lost beat usually has a whiff of death moment. So it makes it so things are even more serious. The All is Lost beat can sometimes have, if you're following the monomyth, that is Joseph Campbell's Hero of a Thousand Faces. This is usually where the mentor dies. Although, because this is middle grade and it's Harry Potter, you don't have that here. You have the mentor, who is Dumbledore. You have him gone. He's not in the story. Pretty much for the rest of the book, instead of him dying. But the whiff of death moment, in addition to that, is also when we learn that Voldemort could return with the Sorcerer's Stone. And things get even more serious. Things get even more intense. This is where you really want to build things up. And really what you want to do here with the whiff of death and the all is lost moment is you want to just practice writing this part and maybe ask your beta readers if this is working. If they feel like there's enough action and there's enough, by action I mean movement, that makes them want to know what's going to happen next. Next you have the Dark Night of the Soul. And this is the what are we going to do moment when they realize that Professor McGonagall, who catches them in the hallway, they realize that Dumbledore's not there. Professor McGonagall tells them. And this is similar to the debate where it's a what do we do moment. The all is lost moment is a lot like that, but instead of ending on a happy note of we're gonna push forward and to break into two, it's a oh no, what's gonna happen now? We're gonna fail. And that's when you break into three after that, but it's a lot more serious. So technically, when you end this beat, it's not necessarily going to be happy. This is a middle grade book, so it doesn't really end like that. But you find in trilogies that there's an overarching Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and the second movie or the second book tends to be more serious and sad and end on more of a dark note because of the way Act 2 ends, which is the Dark Night of the Soul, and it mirrors the debate. So I hate to end the video on the Dark Night of the Soul, but I hope you stick around and watch part 3 for Act 3 of Save the Cat. And until then, I'll see you later. Bye!